Hello everyone, I hope you're having a lovely Boxing Day then. I hope that you've all been having some great games and all that kind of stuff. And more importantly, I hope you're watching some sport because that's entirely what Boxing Day is about. And hopefully you've taken your time out to watch some ALR action from over the past season and in Bronze. And this is season 6 of Bronze as we're starting off in Bahrain again. The last 2 nights we've been talking about this being the first race of the season. Alex quite likes it. I'm not a fan, but there we go. Let's move on, shall we, about from Bahrain. But we got, as you can see, we got a car well off to the side there. A serious motion, not really keen to get involved. But Alex, welcome along again. Third day in a row that you're talking to me. Goodness me, what have you done? Going into this, going into Bronze, and of course you were the head steward. And what was you thinking about going into Bronze? And was there a driver that you was like, he's going to be champion, or they're going to be champion, or would you like, well, I can't really pick, it's going to be a lucky dip kind of thing, isn't it, like you still in the lottery?
I couldn't pick a individual, I don't think, from memory anyway. I think there was a lot of drivers there that were going to be challenging them for race wins for the final championship, of course, as well. The pace in Bahrain, of course, was set by Dr. Truepox there, who was literally just stretching his legs there out in front, disappearing off in the distance, which was fantastic to see from the Alpine's point of view, of course, being part of the joint constructors in the Alpine team for gold. Yeah, I wasn't able to discern which one was going to be coming out on top there in terms of all the drivers. Like I said, it's a long season, but it was, I think, and I've said this in silver, but oh dear, maybe not. I said this in silver as well, but I really think that bronze has massively improved in terms of the driving standards. I'll cross my fingers now because there's probably going to be an incident. But yeah, in terms of the driving standards, well, especially from the early seasons of bronze, there's season 1, season 2, and season 3. I think were iffy to put it that way. So yeah, since then, and especially well, last season was really good, I think, for bronze, and this season I think they've gone even further and putting the standard super high in terms of the racecraft and the ability of all the drivers there. And it's been impressive from everybody on the grid there, and it's been a delight to be the admin for bronze as well.
Of course, a bit of loyalty there. Alex said being in the Alpine, and Alpine were the constructors' champions for bronze the season before. And when Dr. Truepox was just running off into the distance to begin this season, I thought he was going to be a procession there. How dangerous is that though? Because we've seen in real life of F1, didn't we? 2010, I think it was, when Fernando Alonso just absolutely dominated Bahrain 1 year, didn't he? And then yeah, it was one of the closest championships in Formula One. I was going to say ALR history. Then goodness me, if we had Fernando, that'd be great. In Formula One history, but how dangerous is it to like judge people from the opening race then? Because I do that a lot. To be fair, I get very excited just watching some of the test sessions with the drivers head getting their feet under the table. I remember 1 year in particular, I was really excited about one particular driver who doesn't race for us anymore, and unfortunately he kind of fell flat on his face towards the end of his career. But how dangerous is it to really judge the season after just one race?
You can mention his name. It was Emerson Hilton, wasn't it?
Yes.
Well, like I said, it's a long season, so we've touched on it in silver as well, and in gold as well, but obviously. But just throughout the season, one result it can't determine your whole season, can it? And but it can impact how the season goes, of course, positively or negatively as well. But I think it just depends on the concentration and focus, obviously week in week out on with maximising what you can do in that race. And we've seen from all the drivers in bronze, I think a lot of them have just got their heads down and just got on with the race that they've got to face that week. Not worry about the positions of the championship and all of that, and just make sure that you get as best result as you can. And a lot of commitment throughout all of the drivers as well. Throughout the season, there's been very low pit and quits, that sort of thing, and sort of uninterested people not turning up to races, that sort of stuff. So we've removed all of that sort of mentality, I think, and it's really been fantastic to see for the majority of the grid as well this season in propelling bronze further forward.
And that's a very good point you make. I think the total drivers that we had in bronze in the end was like just below 30, which is absolutely fantastic. The gold and silver was almost double, like, well, it was double that. So really good stuff indeed then. As Kiki, unfortunately, having an issue there, going down to turn one, there's a McLaren off there as well. But it's a tough schedule then. I know that some people are going to be listening to this going boo-hoo, but it is a tough schedule, isn't it? If you want to get practice in and want to really be involved in the championship hunt, and you have to be practicing to be in the championship hunt. That's 22 races in 24 weeks, Alex. How did you manage it in gold then? Because it was quite a tough season 9, I thought.
Yeah, I would have to say I was definitely putting a lot of practice for the Bahrain race at the beginning before when the game came out, but that of course does sort of diminish a little bit throughout the season as of course the races come thick and fast, a lot faster than the actual F1 of course as well. So yeah, it's down to obviously I'd put it down to practicing as much as you can, but obviously that is a time contingent. But no, I think even with minimal practice, I think the drivers you have to turn up and just try and do the best you can and try and do it as cleanly as you can as well. So which can be the difficult part as well. But I think everybody from bronze there, whether they had the time to practice or not, they put in a shift each week to just try and maximise the result. So yeah, and like I said, I think that made it easy to run the division, to be honest, because everybody put in the best work that they could.
He certainly did, and in the end of that, then Dr. Trupot went on to win that race, and that was his first of 3 Grand Prix wins in the end, which I'm quite astounded by that, because I thought it'd be a lot more than that after that incredible performance to start us off. Then, of course, I'm going to jump a bit ahead, to be fair, Alex. So don't boo me out of the box. But I want to talk about Kiki first. Kiki in the second half of the season, like German, like we spoke about with other drivers in the championships previously to today, Kiki found something incredible. I think from Silverstone onwards, he got his first podium in Silverstone. Sorry, it was actually Australia. He got his first podium in it. And then all of a sudden, he just went on an absolute tear in the championship, getting some incredible points there. 2 Grand Prix wins as well in his season, 2 first Grand Prix wins in his season as well, and 8 podiums there. Absolutely, it was a delight to see it. Again, we spoke about it in gold quite a bit then, but evolution of the drivers, I must admit, I love stuff like that. It really turned the championship on its head slightly, didn't it?
Yeah, and like I was saying, it's a long season, so you can have that swing throughout the season where it changes throughout the 22 rounds. They're all a bit rain in Miami, so um, but yes, I think Kiki, like you mentioned, there has been absolutely fantastic. Again, was committed throughout the season to just turning up, making sure he put in the results week in week out. Whether they were difficult, whether they were the best results that he could get or not, and especially at the beginning of the season, I think he really struggled, and I think it was unfortunate because we were aware of what he can do, and we saw what he can do in the latter part of the season. And I think, well, now you made me say it, to be fair, but I think he will be a challenger for season 7, and now I'm going to regret saying
You are
that.
indeed. So I look at it. And by the way, if anyone talks about someone Jinx and Kiki next season, we're going to point at Knowles. Oh goodness me, we've got a bit of a crash going on there. In terms of this circuit, then Alex, let's go from the positive of Kiki to a bit of a. I'm not sure. I get a negative vibe when we race around Miami from the ALR drivers and from from real life drivers as well. And Miami is not the most interesting circuit, but this one for me, the reason why this is in the season review, I think, Alex, and hopefully you won't say I'm talking absolute boulder dash, but the reason why this one's in this review is because of the night and day between this race and the race we had in bronze here last season, where TK really, of course, went on the wrong strategy and cost himself a victory. Whilst this time around, spoiler alert, this time around he was absolutely fantastic. But firstly, what did you make of this circuit? I mean, try to be as positive as you can, but I know that it's not great. But the race itself in bronze was fantastic, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think. Well, I don't think it's anybody's favourite circuit, apart from maybe people who live in Miami. But it's not. I don't know what it is, but it just doesn't. It doesn't. I don't know what it is. It just doesn't lend itself to the most entertaining of races, I suppose you could say. As Smithy's just having a problem there, getting himself sorted. But yeah, so it's a bit of an odd one because I think it can be a good circuit, and I think in league racing specifically, it's a bit like France where it can. It's not, and nobody's that keen on racing on it rather, but it can have good races as we saw here in bronze as well. So yeah, it's a bit of an odd one, I would say, Miami, but it might be one that potentially will grow on us as we go through the seasons as more American races get added as well. So so yeah, we'll see.
Up to four, I've heard, with New York seems to be on the horizon. Goodness me, it's going to be quarter championship, and we're in over in America. Nothing wrong with that at all. Albeit, I would love to see a race in South Africa. Just watching. Oh goodness me, it's getting very tight down in the hairpin there. There is a lot of controversy in this race in golf, then, and I must admit, looking at this battle here between Brooksy and Vessier, I kind of thought it was going to be a carbon copy, but it just shows how I think a lot of drivers were very respectful of each other, especially in the opening couple of races here, because they knew that they know that points could be very much crucial for their championship campaign. And do you think?
Yeah, I think well, especially in the early stages, then you're well. Actually, to be fair, I'll say in the early stages you can just you're battling with everybody just to make sure that you can maximise your own points. But of course, I think in bronze, like I was saying, the standard they set was so high, as unfortunately Brooksy has had a problem there through the chicane. But the standard in bronze has been set so high that it's been just absolutely fantastic. It's been sort of more similar to silver, really, overall as a season, in terms of just consistency, of terms of good racing, in terms of just people putting in the work and putting in great performances as well. And I think, like I said, the drivers who come out on top there have had the pace, of course. There's no doubt about that. But they've also had the consistency. They've also had much improvement from the previous seasons, also. So yeah, it's been great to see.
This early stage of the World Championship as well. It's very much new potato who was putting in incredible consistency. He had a fourth, he had a third, he had a first, he had a first, he had a second, he had a fourth. Could you tell I'm reading it off a spreadsheet? But that was absolutely incredible from new potato right from the get go. Did you think at this time, Alex, of course, with your wisdom of your knowledge of Grand Prix racing, of course, you're now in the 100%er club, the 100 club for gold. Then with 101 starts now. With your infinite wisdom of this season, and did you think that TK is needs to win this race? Of course, he did win this race in the end, but was this crucial for the championship to stop New Potato from gaining momentum?
Like I said, I think in the early stages, yeah, we saw Dr. Truepox, we saw New Potato, then and TK take wins. Vessier was up there as well in terms of getting. I think he got a win in Australia, I think it was third round of the season. So there was quite a split actually in terms of, we're only on round five, but there was quite a split in terms of the wins throughout the field. And I think, in terms of TK this season and in this race specifically, I think he felt a bit more at home in his home Grand Prix. But he also I think in terms of the championship, he needed to make sure that he could keep up with the guys who had already set the pace in the first four rounds as well. So yeah, it was important for him to get the win there.
And now we move on to the British Grand Prix, and this is where I feel that the championship may have taken a bit of a dip or a bit of a turn. Then, of course, this race there was it was a winner who had won already this season, but I think that this race certainly lit a fire, I think, under a couple of other drivers there. One driver I want to talk about, though, before we go into anything else, then, is Vessier. You mentioned Vessier, then. It was a free championship battle for up until Las Vegas, I believe it was. What an intense affair that was, then, between the top three. How, of course, Alex, how difficult was it for drivers, then, to be fighting with multiple drivers in the championship? Because it's difficult just to fight one-on-one, isn't it?
Yeah, like you said, you've got to be wary of everybody, really, don't you? So you have to just make sure that you you can only really run your own race. You have to maximise what you can do rather than worry about everybody else. But I think having the challenge there from everybody, from more than just one driver, like you said, it can really spice up the championship for sure, which is quite nice for us watching. But No, I think it really can play a factor in how people go about their racing, and I think it positively in this sense it was absolutely fantastic because it really made for entertaining Grand Prix as well.
It certainly did, and of course, from this race onwards as well, Kiki absolutely started to really come forward in the side for the top three drivers. And with Kiki starting to take points off of yourself or your rivals, then that must have been very difficult as well. Then, if you was like TK at the stage of proceedings, Alex, where you was fighting to keep up with Vester and New Potato in the World Championship, would you happen to see Kiki up there, or would you be more like, well, no, I just want it to be a straight fight between myself and two adversaries?
Personally, I've never been in a position to be like that. I don't think I've never been fast enough. But no, I think it's probably a good. I would probably say it's a good thing actually because then at least taking points off of your rivals. If you have a difficult race, then at least you've got other drivers then that are stealing the points there from others from the championship contenders around you. So I would say it's a good thing, but wouldn't have a clue personally because I've never been that far up the order. So yeah, yeah, it's interesting to see. Put it that way.
It's certainly, well, I loved it personally, more the merrier in my opinion. But of course, I am a bit like I'm a bit biased because I want more action personally. As we're just coming out of Stoke, very close there, isn't it? Goodness gracious me. Of course, just looking up and down the drawers now. Let's just take a broad overview about what's been occurring up and down the championship. One driver, he was very much Jekyll and Hyde kind of thing. I'm not sure if you know the that evil scientist, Alex, where he seemed to go really nice to really like evil. I'm not saying that about winning, definitely not. But he goes from like challenging in the midfield to all of a sudden challenging for Grand Prix wins in Baku, for example, where he could have and should have won that race. I feel then. But what did you make of Winnie's performance then? I think that's the most extreme I've ever seen a driver going from midfield to all of a sudden like podium contender. It was incredible to see, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think one for a street circuit is Winnie because he absolutely blistering pace there. I think the two that I recall is Azerbaijan and Singapore, where I think he got a sprint victory, I think, or sprint podium there in Azerbaijan, and then he got P2 in Singapore as well. So yeah, I think yeah, it seemed to be a bit of a difficult season overall for Winnie, but again, for some reason on the street circuit, it's just an absolute blistering pace. So it was great to see actually. It almost became familiar on the when we got to Singapore, that sort of end of the season, sort of well, the final sector of the season, I suppose you could say, where we were like, oh well, Winnie's going to have a good result here. But yeah, so it was quite interesting to see, to be fair, and yeah, very very good indeed. Because personally, I'm a big fan of a street circuit.
I was going to say a man that takes after your own heart, then Alex, of course, being a street king as well, fantastic. I just remember being absolutely dumbfounded in Azerbaijan because no disrespect to Winnie, but at that time he wasn't really threatening the points at all. Unfortunately, had three no point scores, and all of a sudden he was fighting for the sprint win in that back. Unfortunately, it went a bit awry in the Grand Prix itself, but then of course he got that incredible win in Hungary, which was absolutely fantastic. But I just wanted to mention Winnie because that is incredible. What we were seeing there, I was absolutely lost for it, but it's great to see. And talking of which, I think Kevin Magnussen has something similar as well, where he's really quick on some of the street circuits as well, of course, in the Haas. But unfortunately, Winnie was in the Mercedes, and so I can't really make too much of a comparison there. Otherwise, that would have been perfect, wouldn't it? But of course, just taking a look up and down the season, and let's take a look at the Alfa Romeo, who finished second, and they just about got in front of the Williams team, and I think that's a very good season for the Alfa Romeo team. And of course, Brooksy got a Grand Prix win, got two pole positions with 5 podiums there. And Cirrus Mushroom, no DNFs at all, 4 driver of the days, and he had 3 podiums as well. Mushroom in the final stage of the season really turned up the wick there, where he had a third position in Brazil, and then I think he had a second position in Las Vegas, and of course had a fourth in Abu Dhabi. But Cirrus Mushroom, then, if he qualified, I reckon Cirrus Mushroom would certainly be up there to fight for wins on a much more regular basis. But both Alfa Romeos, I think, were pretty amazing this season. They certainly were. Serious much with the consistency, but Brooksy with the flashes of speed as well. Would you agree with that?
100%. Yeah. Again, like I've said in every review and probably every future review as well, because consistency is key. And with the results that Brooksy and Mushroom have both got throughout the season, it's been picking up points all the way through. and it just pays off in the end, and they've got that result there. Of course, the likes of Ferrari there were dominating, of course, with the wins and that sort of thing. So I know, of course, Brooksy did get a couple of wins throughout the season as well. So yeah, they couldn't quite catch up there to the Ferrari team. But again, throughout the season, both Brooksy and Serious Mushroom have been fantastic.
And talking of Singapore, we are here in Singapore as well. It's got a bit of a different layout, this circuit, and it seems to have a bit more of a bit more of a straight then with the battle into the final chicane then in Singapore. We talked about track changes already in the season reviews, and this is another track change, albeit this is more forced by the Singapore authorities. And what did you make of this track change? And did you like the fact that you didn't have to have that Mickey Mouse 17 and 18 chicane then, or did you or did you like the fact that there was a long straight then?
Yeah, I think it would be better if it was somehow a DRS zone potentially, or something like that. But yeah, I think it made the racing a bit or flow a bit better than the previous layout and the old layout. So yeah, I think it wasn't too bad in the end. But overall, it hasn't, as compared to the other changes to the tracks, like for example Spain and Australia, I would say. I don't think it's changed an awful lot around this circuit. But yeah, well, thankfully it's made the lap time a bit shorter, and, so that we don't have to commentate for as long as previous seasons. But I think in terms of the racing, I think if that was like a DRS zone or something there that maybe went into a bit of a heavier braking zone, then it would be a bit more interesting, I think, but not too much difference, I don't think, to the old layout.
I agree with you entirely on that one. Dr. True Potts unfortunately crashed into wall, quite a heavy impact, which brought up the safety car, and that was kind of his season unravelling, unfortunately, for True Potts after such a good start. In this race, you will notice that there is a substitute driver in terms of Jay Hings. I'm going to be honest, Alex. You've known how much I've enjoyed watching Jay Hings drive since making his Super Sub appearance in ALR over gold, silver, and bronze. He's been magnificent, and F2 as well. But of course, what I'm going to focus on here, as much as Jay Hings was fantastic with his 2 wins this season and 5 podiums there, being a reserve driver then with Vestier fighting for the World Championship, I don't think Vestier was too pleased, was he, of having not his regular teammate in the Red Bull car at this time.
Well, like I said, Jay Hings has been an absolute star in the in terms of reserve at the beginning, obviously with his performances. Oh dear. Yeah, so he's been absolutely brilliant there to have Jay Hings on the grid there, who of course was added to the Ferrari team. Probably sort of 2/3, well, maybe about 3/4 of the way through, and yeah, like I said, it's been absolutely fantastic to have him as a reserve there on the grid. There, he's been a very fast but also very clean and consistent driver as well. So no, it's been great to have Jay Hings, and a great addition there to the bronze division as well. I think to the latter part of the year. Latter part of of the year and the season actually, but I meant season. So
He has been superb. He really has indeed. And of course, we've got a couple of we've got late safety car again, which seems to drag up a lot of the a lot of action towards the end of this one. Then, Alex, well, what do you make then of? I'm going to ask, like I did in silver. Hopefully, I won't butcher it as much. Then, who would be your star of the season? Then, there you go. I should just say it like that, shouldn't I? In the silver review, but who would be your star of the season? Of course, from an admin point of view, who do you think? Wow, sit up and take notice of that young man.
Um, like I said, after 22 rounds, then I think they've all done a fantastic job. I can't. Well, I could pick one. Let me have a look. So I'm looking through the order now, to be honest, because like I said, everyone's done a great job. So it is difficult to pick one person. But again, in terms of consistency, in terms of making sure that they keep on the results and have always been a clean and fair driver, I would have to go with well, somebody I haven't mentioned just yet, but it's Jake the Slayer, who has done a great job then in this season in the Mercedes, who's kept it clean, kept it tidy there. He's had some bad luck there, especially towards the latter part of the season as well, but again, we saw right from the beginning of this review back in Bahrain, got a podium then in the first race, and has really been up there in terms. I think he's been roughly around sort of P5, P6 in the standings throughout the whole season as well. So it just shows that he's been fighting for the points every race as well. But yeah, I'd have to say Jake Slater, just because he's always been there. Apart from, I think he missed one round. So yeah, it's been great to have him on the grid, and I think he's shown what he can do, and will hopefully show what even more what he can do next season as well.
By the way, by the way, I swear I didn't message Alex that answer. That is perfect. Yeah, because Jake the Slayer for me as well was absolutely on fine vessel. I think that over the years we've seen Slayer race in silver more often than not, rather than bronze. But this season, certainly was absolutely fantastic. Only two DNSs one. Alex, you're exactly right then. Goodness me, I'd love to know how you get all that memory. Goodness me, you're like a walking laptop. Fantastic. But yes, he had 21 starts. Only 21 starts. Had 21 starts out of 22 Grand Prix appearances. Absolutely supreme. But Slayer for me was absolutely supreme stuff this season. And I'm looking forward. I reckon that. Oh no, you know what I'm going to do, don't you? I reckon that Slayer is going to be involved in the championship fight for next season, Alex.
Oh dear, there we go. That's
it.
Two then.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I think the drivers hate it when they watch this back and think, don't say anything, just say you'll be doing well next season. But I just can't keep my opinions to myself, can I? Shocking. Well, of course, let's move on, shall we? Then before Slayer throws something at me, we're just watching just going to talk about the Haas team. It's a bit of a mixed bag for the Haas team this season. Don Madan didn't race many races this season, unfortunately. Marsky did get that win, but apart from that, and a podium as well, but apart from that, it was really a season of disappointment for the Haas team, Alex. I always say that Marsky is always one of my favourites, and this is why no one likes me to predict him, because I've said for the past few seasons that Marsky's going to do well, but it just doesn't seem to come together for Marsky and Don Madan as well. Difficult season for both the Haas drivers.
Yeah, I think they've had the difficulties throughout this season, but they've both been, well, I said that they've both been just cracking on with it really. Marsky, I think, has switched some sort of assist there throughout the season, so he's been trying to get to grips with that, which is probably why he's not had the best season, but hopefully is just building that up for season 7, so potentially one for your candidate list for next season anyway. And Dynamo Down, I think, is having some personal things that were going on during the season as well, but thankfully is now back up and running, and he did get some good performances towards the latter part of the stage as well. But yeah, again, I think just the lack of consistency in terms of the both drivers there turning up to each race at the same time, sort of thing, throughout the season there, and then just maybe the struggles there with the assists there for Marsky there to get themselves up to speed. Then hopefully it'll be turned around then for both those drivers next season, and looking forward to seeing what they can do.
Indeed, here to that. That'll be really good indeed. Then, and then we've got, of course, the battle at the basement, really, haven't we, between McLaren and Aston Martin. That sounds harsh. I don't mean to say it like that, but I was really intrigued by this. I don't think any of the four drivers, I don't think Swanshank, Sickersmith, Stars, or Smith Almighty cared about it, but I certainly did, because it was a fight not to be at the bottom of the constructors' championship. And Sickersmith, just like Kiki, but towards the latter half of the season, Sickersmith absolutely turned something. I don't know what he did. I reckon he's found some hacks, but Sickersmith was incredible in the final stage of the season there. He just elevated himself right up the points order, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Again, one of the drivers, like I was saying in the previous reviews as well, one of the drivers that really struggled at the beginning of the season and was barely able to keep up with the rest of the grid at some stages, in the very early stages. But then I think absolutely fantastic, and credit to him as well. Credit to all drivers that have had difficult seasons and then improve throughout. But it's been great to watch Sickersmith. Like you said, in P3 as it stands at the moment in this one. But no, it's been incredible to watch, because they've just put their heads down, focused on what they can do to improve. Forgot about all the negativity and all the problems that had happened, and oh dear, that's a bit of a dodgy pit entry. So forgot about all the issues and that sort of thing in the previous races that hadn't gone their way, and just gone on with whatever race was facing them in the next week or so. So and again, I think hopefully we can see again the adaptability then through from the beginning of the game then into next season. Then once they've got another season, or already got a season under their belt now on this game, we'll hopefully see the likes of Sickersmith, then Smithy Almighty really just jumping up the order. They're getting some more points then next season as well.
I don't want to say this, Alex, because it doesn't feel nice, but Swanshank's his teammate. Bit of a nightmare season. Swanshank's one of the most experienced drivers. He's also had podiums as well in bronze. but he didn't get a top 10 finish this season. He did get a point for fastest lap, but firstly, fair play to Swanshanks because he raced 19 times and only had 3 DNFs then. Even when things didn't go his way for Swanshanks, he was always there or thereabouts. And hats off to Swanshanks there. He's got my utmost respect. Him and Scooby Stew, both drivers then that struggled, have just kept at it then. Alex, I would never accuse you of being a pitter and quitter, but how, in your experience, then, how difficult is to carry on knowing that the season's unraveling? It's gone a bit awry. You're struggling to get in the points there, and you're just getting so frustrated. I'm sure. Well, I've never seen Scooby Stew or Swanshanks get frustrated at all. Then, it's all goodness me. I think that was a bit of frustration there from Slayer, unfortunately. But I didn't see those two drivers get absolutely get frustrated at all. Then it's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, got to keep a calm head and keep on with it. Even if it's been a difficult race, then you can always hope for a safety car or something that usually comes out. So yeah, you can always hope for something else that will affect your race, bring you back into the race as well down the line. So or go for a fastest lap point, something like that, which of course, like you said, Swanshanks did do it towards the end of the season as well. Yeah, it was fair play to them both for just cracking on with it as well, and just really just even though it was a difficult race, they just kept their heads down. They didn't like I said cause any incidents or cause any problems. Then really they just got on with their own races, and I must admit I was very happy indeed in Singapore when Scooby Stew got his first points of the season. It was very good indeed, and the same again for when Swanshanks got his fastest lap. I think it was Brazil, from memory. It might have been Las Vegas, of course. But either way, it was fantastic to see. Like I said, they've kept on going for all the season, and even though it's only a point or two, that it sort of justifies their result as well, because they've kept on plugging away throughout all 22 races then, and they've really done a good job then just to get some points on the board, even though they've struggled.
Yeah, hats off to him as well. And just to finish off, Styles had a great start to the season. Unfortunately, with that, I think he had a podium, didn't he, way back in Baku? And then unfortunately, it did unravel ever so slightly for Styles. And he got most of his points in the first part of the season. He got 2 points in the final 2 races. And then Smithfield Mighty also got 2 incredible podiums there. So McLaren, I've got, I think, a bit of to improve on. But going back to the world champion, then let's talk about TK for the final stage of this sprint review. Goodness me, it feels like a sprint review, doesn't it? It's flown by. But just taking a look at TK, Alex said, as we mentioned, then 4 wins with a pole position. Only 1 pole position for TK. I think he had like 14, 12, 13 or 14 last season, and 10 podiums as well. Then TK, he was just a cut above the rest, wasn't he?
Absolutely fantastic, and yeah, a great victory then in well, not victory, but a great result in Las Vegas. Their podium in Las Vegas there to clinch the title then in his home race. So yeah, it was really good stuff indeed from TK all season, and like you said, it was quite interesting to see that there's a reversal from last season as well, where he had the quali pace, but it just didn't go his way in the race. And then this season, he did have quali pace, but he wasn't getting the pole positions like you just said. But he was getting the results in the Grand Prix, and that's where it counts, of course. So, like I said, a faultless season in most cases for TK. It's been absolutely impressive to watch his improvement then as well from last season especially, and yeah, credit to him as well, because he's just done a great job every week and put in the shift and got the result, got the championship wrapped up.
And of course, that just shows that qualifying doesn't matter, does it? There, who goodness me, Serious Russia would love that, wouldn't he? And of course, there's Kiki came across the line to win his 2nd race of the season. And just a quick word of our new sponsor, BoxBox, Alex, as well, because I think that you did a lot of work on that during the 2-week period where I was hibernating. So just talk about BoxBox and how incredible it is to have him as part of ALR.
Yeah, it's been a great addition. I think, like I said, it's nice to have some sponsors there to sort of promote the league and also us to promote their brand as well. But BoxBox, well, like I said, I was looking for something that was going to be Formula One related, because of course that's the whole reason we're here, obviously. So a BoxBox is a fantastic app there for for Formula One sort of widgets as well that you can put on your lock screens and whatnot, and also for sort of F1 updates, live updates during the races, and for testing, etc. So yeah, credit to BoxBox. Thank you very much for joining us, and looking forward to working together, sort of thing, moving forwards.
Here. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you very much, Alex. Thank you to BoxBox as well for powering us through this remaining part of the season. Then TK won the championship by 13 points in there from New Potato with Vesser in third position. Jay Hings on his debut, brilliant performance in fourth with Kiki and Slayer, as Alex said, brilliant stuff indeed there for Slayer. Dr. Truepot said started off well, but just dropped down the order and then 2 Alfa Romeos. And in the constructors championship, Alfa Romeo just snuck in front of Williams in the end. It was Ferrari then who really was impressive, weren't they, right from the get go. Very good stuff indeed, and a lot of things then for the drivers then to be aware of, or the teams to be aware of with Aston Martin, unfortunately, down the bottom then. Well, coming up next, though, we do have the 100% draw, Alex said. Do you want to talk us through that a bit quick?
Yeah, well, this is the traditional 100% attendance wheel then for those that have been with us all season, and credit to all these drivers then who've done a great job there. Every single race has been attended in both. Well, Serious Mushroom is going to be the first off the wheel, but in the case of Serious Mushroom and for Reflection as well, they've both attended all of the silver or bronze races and all of the F2 races as well this season, which is absolutely fantastic from both of them. And Serious Mushroom then is our first winner, who is of course going to get the £20 PSN voucher reward. And the second one is going to be Hungry Styles then. So it's Hungry Styles then, of course, in bronze. Not a great season, but a great consistent driver then who hopefully will turn that around for next season as well. And that'll be £20 on your way to yourself as well, sir.
BoxBox Hub is an absolute essential for any Formula One fan, and the entire app with new widgets, statistics, localized race schedules, and countdowns, you name it. They even have support for Apple's new live activities feature with real-time updates during a race right on the lock screen, and honestly, some of the best looking widgets I've seen.
And my word there, I thought they was going to come together there, down on the kink of 6 and 7. On the outside there, TK is pushing out, trying to keep himself on the track. He has the inside, he has track position, he's done it. TK leads at the Singapore Grand Prix.